Hey guys, what's up? Today's Friday the 13th, so I figured I would give you 10 easy tips to help you not die in a horror movie. Here we go. There's a couple common sense, kind of basic tips here. I'm going to give you some do's and some don'ts. Don't camp at a place called Camp Crystal Lake. It has a crazy history of people dying, and you're just going to die if you go there. Just call the cops. Don't investigate if something weird's going on. Always check your back seat. This doesn't just apply for horror movies, but in all situations you should probably check your back seat. How many times have you seen someone get killed by someone in their back seat? Check your back seat before you get in. If you find yourself face to face with this killer and you run from them, don't trip over nothing. If you happen to trip, don't crawl. Get up. I don't care if your leg's snapped or not. You'll be able to run on it with all the adrenaline in your system. Yeah, I mean, you might pay for it later and you might have to have your leg amputated from the knee down, but you're alive. If your house is talking to you, leave. Get out. It's an inanimate object communicating with you. Something is wrong. You should leave. If you don't, you might end up killing your entire family. If you're an African American in this situation and the group decides they want to split up, I suggest that you strongly vote against it. If the vote cannot go in your favor, make sure you team up with the virgin of the group. If this is not possible, then just leave! Screw them white people! If you find yourself face to face with the killer and you shoot them, don't just shoot them once. Go over to their body and make sure that they are dead. The best way to make sure they are dead is to take the gun that you shot them with and unload the clip in their dome region. Best place to shoot them is repeatedly in their face. Because I'm just saying, every time you shoot them once, they live, they get up, and then you end up dying. Tip number 8 is a two-parter. Do not lure the killer to a situation in which you are at a disadvantage, like a rooftop, because they will eventually kill you after so many movies that you should have been dead and then you're not dead, but they end up killing you off a rooftop. Second part to tip 8 is just don't cut their head off with an axe, because chances are it's not gonna be the killer, it'll be someone dressed up like the killer, and you'll make a huge mistake and kill an innocent person that's dressed up like an idiot anyways, and they shouldn't have been like that, but they were like that, and now you're the bad person because you killed an innocent person. Just don't do that. If you happen to face the killer and you run the killer over repeatedly with a car, and then as you're sitting there, they sprout a wing and fly away, at this point in time everything has gone to crap, the movie's not even worth watching anymore. But if they have sprouted a wing, I'm just saying you're screwed. So you should have shot them repeatedly in the face with the gun that I was talking about in a previous tip. And if you don't have a gun, your foot will do very well. You could just repeatedly stomp on their skull. Once there is no more life in them, there is no wing sprouting, and the movie has not completely gone to crap at that point, and you just finished it off, and now you are alive. And my final tip for you is, if you're in a situation like this, is as much as you're going to want to do this, especially if the group splits up, do not fornicate. Everyone loves to fornicate, just do not fornicate, it will save your life. If you are fornicating in a situation like this, you will die, it is a guarantee. I know you have an urge every day, probably every minute of every day, to fornicate. Humans love to fornicate. Just do not fornicate in a situation like this, because you will die. You have to resist that urge. I beg you, if you want to live, resist the urge to fornicate. And I hope this has helped you survive a horror movie. Of course, if you're watching this, then you've already survived a horror movie, or you feel like you're about to be in a situation in which you are going to be in a horror movie. Well, in that case, hopefully these tips have saved your life. And if they have done so, there's only 3 things left to do as always. Comment, thumbs up, and subscribe. Later, guys.